In ancient feudal Japan, the land is said to have been filled with witches, demons, and proud samurai. At that time, Japan was ruled by the shogun, Tsunayoshi Tokugawa, who controlled many provinces. Those provinces did not live in harmony. They competed, clashed, and held tightly to their own traditions. One of those traditions was harsh. Foreigners and people of mixed blood were never accepted as nobles. For the samurai, honor was everything. If they failed to protect their lord, they carried that shame in front of their people. Many of them stepped down from their positions and lived as ronin, samurai, who had lost or been separated from their master. From this world of strict honor and unforgiving customs, the legend of the 47 Ronin was born. To understand that legend, we have to go back to where it all began. This is 47 Ronins. It begins with a young boy named Kai, sprinting in terror out of a bamboo forest. No one knows where he came from. People whisper that he was raised by demons in the Tangu forest, a cursed place feared by ordinary folk. Eventually, Kai stumbles into the lands of Akko province, where a group of samurai finds him. One of them, Oishi, notices strange claw marks on the boy's head and immediately believes he is touched by demons. Oishi is ready to kill him on the spot. Their lord Asano steps in and stops the execution. Instead of treating Kai as a monster, Asano takes him in. Asano is the ruler of Akko, and he allows Kai to live under his protection, but not inside the castle. Kai grows up in a small, worn-down hut on the edge of the estate, always close, yet never truly belonging. Over the years, Kai becomes very close to Asano's daughter, Mika. She quietly falls in love with him, and he feels the same way about her. But Kai knows his place. In a world that rejects mixed blood, he believes he will never be worthy of standing beside a noble woman, no matter how strong his feelings are. Many years pass. Kai is now a grown man, hardened by life and trained in combat. One day, he rides into the forest with the samurai of Akko to hunt a fearsome creature, a shape-shifting beast with razor-sharp horns known as the Kirin. As the warriors search the woods, the monstrous beast suddenly charges out and attacks with brutal force. The Kirin goes straight for a samurai named Yasuno. In a split second, Kai moves. He grabs Yasuno's sword, lunges forward, and drives the blade into the Kirin's chest, killing it. When the danger has passed, Kai quietly returns the sword to Yasuno. Instead of offering gratitude, Yasuno looks at him with disgust. In his eyes, it is better to die under the Kirin's horns than live thanks to the help of a half-blood. Lord Asano and Oishi arrive soon after. Asano sees the dead Kirin and proudly thanks Yasuno, assuming he was the one who struck the killing blow. Oishi even cuts off part of the Kirin's horn as a trophy to honor Yasuno, but Oishi has already noticed something that Asano has not. Kai's hands are stained with thick, dark blood, proof of who really killed the beast. Not long after, Kai spots a white fox watching him from the bushes, its body still and its gaze unnerving. The animal has one golden eye and one blue eye, an unsettling and unnatural sight. Kai chooses to ignore the omen. He turns away and walks back to his creaking little hut. Meanwhile, Asano returns to the castle with his samurai. He informs his daughter Mika that Akko has been chosen by the shogun to host the annual combat tournament. Fighters from Akko will face warriors from another province led by Lord Kira, Asano's long-standing rival. That night, Mika secretly visits Kai in his small hut. She tends to the wounds on his back, but Kai gently pushes her away. He knows that no matter how they feel about each other, their worlds can never come together. He is a mixed-blood outsider, and she is the daughter of a noble lord. Elsewhere, the white fox slips into Kira's residence and transforms into a beautiful woman. This woman is Mizuki, a powerful witch loyal to Kira. She is willing to use any magic necessary to weaken Asano and give Kira the advantage he wants. Before long, the day of the shogun's visit arrives. The shogun and Lord Kira come to Akko to prepare for the tournament. Kai spots Mizuki among Kira's attendants, recognizing the same strange eyes as the fox he saw earlier. He tries to warn Oishi that one of Kira's women is a witch, but Oishi dismisses him and once again reminds him of his low status. The next morning, the tournament begins. Kira becomes captivated by Mika and already plans to claim her as his bride. Asano refuses the idea completely. Kira's fighter enters the arena, a towering warrior known as the Lovecraftian samurai. Yasuno, chosen to represent Akko, begins preparing his armor. At that moment, Mizuki curses him, leaving him convulsing and unable to fight. Kai and Chikara, Oishi's son, find Asano collapsed. Chikara knows that without a fighter, Asano will be disgraced. With no other choice, Kai steps in. He covers his identity behind samurai armor and a mask, then faces the monstrous opponent in a brutal and intense match. During the fight, Kai is defeated and his mask falls away, revealing who he really is. Asano is stunned. The shogun immediately orders the samurai to kill Kai, but Asano throws himself in front of him and apologizes to the shogun. To make amends, Asano commands his own men to beat Kai instead. Ashamed and devastated by the chaos surrounding the tournament, Asano locks himself inside his chamber. Later that night, Mizuki tells Kira that Asano is vulnerable. She draws a strange purple essence from Kira's arm and shapes it into a poisonous spider. She sneaks into Asano's room while he sleeps and places the spider on his face. Its venom drips into his mouth, sending him into a hallucinatory nightmare. Under the spell, Asano thinks he hears Mika calling for help. He grabs his sword and rushes to her room. In his vision, he sees Kira attacking his daughter. Acting on instinct, he slashes Kira's back. Oishi rushes in and stops him. The illusion fades. Mika is not in the room at all, and Kira has not harmed her. Asano has attacked a noble without cause. By morning, the punishment is decided. For this offense, the shogun condemns Asano to death. At dawn, Asano carries out his sentence and performs seppuku. This is an ancient ritual where a samurai takes his own life by cutting open his abdomen to restore his honor after failure. Mika watches in grief as her father completes the act, and Oishi steps forward to deliver the final strike that ends Asano's suffering. Once the execution is over, the shogun declares that every samurai of Akko is now a Ronin. He also announces that Mika must marry Kira within 1 year. When the shogun leaves, Kira wastes no time claiming Akko as his own. He orders Oishi and the remaining samurai to never seek revenge for Asano's death. Then he sends Kai to Dejima Island to work as a slave and throws Oishi into an underground cell for a full year. The rest of the samurai are forced out of their homeland. A year passes. Oishi is released from captivity and left in a remote rural area where he is found by his son, Chikara, and his wife, Riku. Riku explains that Kira is preparing to marry Mika and that Kai is still enslaved in Dejima. Oishi immediately begins planning. He sends Chikara to find 3 horses and asks Riku to spread a rumor that she has divorced him. The lie is meant to protect her from Kira's cruelty once the rebellion begins. When the horses are ready, Oishi sends Chikara to gather the Ronin and instructs them to wait at the Black Lake. Oishi himself sets out for Dejima to free Kai. When he arrives, he finds Kai fighting for his life against a brutish opponent. Despite the danger, Kai defeats the orc-like fighter with ease. Oishi approaches, but Kai attacks him instinctively, hardened by a year of slavery and violence. Only when Oishi mentions Mika does Kai stop. The moment he hears her name, he regains his clarity and escapes Dejima alongside Oishi.
She needs your help.
By morning, the 2 men reach the Black Lake, where the remaining Ronin are waiting. Together, they renew their vow to avenge their fallen lord and bring Kira to justice. Oishi shows them a map and directs the group toward Itsubo village, where they can secure proper weapons. He also sends Isugai to infiltrate Kira's palace and gather information. Meanwhile, word reaches Kira that Oishi is free and rallying the Ronin. Realizing the threat, he orders Mizuki to hunt Oishi down and kill him before the rebellion gains momentum. Back with the Ronin, Oishi's group reaches Uedo village. Instead of villagers, they find Kira's samurai waiting. Kai reacts instantly. Without hesitation, he charges forward and cuts them down in a swift and decisive attack. That night, the group rests in Uedo village. As they regroup, Oishi admits that they are still short on weapons. Kai steps forward with a solution. He tells Oishi there is a temple deep within the Tangu forest, a place where powerful blades can be found. He also reveals a piece of his past. As a child, he was raised by the Tangu, who taught him how to fight and even how to use certain supernatural techniques. He vowed never to rely on that magic unless absolutely necessary. Meanwhile, Isugai reaches one of Kira's pleasure houses. There, he unknowingly comes face to face with Mizuki, disguised as an entertainer. He has no idea he is standing inches away from a witch. The next day, Kai, Oishi, and the Ronin enter the Tangu forest. They eventually reach the ancient temple where Kai once lived. Kai leads Oishi inside while the others wait outside. As they enter a dim stone passage, Kai warns Oishi not to draw his sword under any circumstances. Inside the temple, the Tengu spirits are kneeling in silence. Kai moves toward a hidden chamber where a single Tengu sword is planted in the ground. There he is confronted by his former master, the Tengu Lord, a being with a serpent-like face. The Tengu Lord conjures visions of Kai's past, reminding him that he was born to a farmer who rejected him because of his English blood, abandoning him in the forest where the Tengu eventually found him and raised him. Kai tells his former master why he has returned. He needs the sword. The Tengu Lord challenges him to take it. Back in the main hall, Oishi is startled to see that Yasuno and another Ronin have wandered inside. The Tengu become agitated and begin to attack.
For your sword.
Even in the chaos, Oishi remembers Kai's warning and refuses to draw his blade. Meanwhile, Kai and the Tengu Lord engage in a fast, skillful struggle. Using an illusion technique he learned long ago, Kai manages to outmaneuver his master and claim the sword. Impressed by Kai's growth, the Tengu Lord allows him to leave. Oishi, still confused, suddenly finds all of his men gone. In their place are piles of Tengu swords scattered around him. It all turns out to be an illusion. The Ronin are safe, and the weapons are now theirs. Kai, Oishi, and the others leave the forest with the enchanted blades. Kai demonstrates the sheer power of a Tengu sword by slicing through a thick tree trunk with almost no effort. One of the Ronin, Basho, tries to imitate the move but cannot come close. When they return to Wado village, Isugai arrives with new information. Kira will visit his ancestral shrine that night. Oishi sees an opportunity and plans an ambush. That night, the Ronin quietly approach the shrine. They see Kira and his samurai praying. Just as they prepare to strike, Isugai becomes possessed. The figure in front of them is not Kira at all, but Mizuki in disguise. She unleashes a wave of fire, scattering the Ronin. Moments later, the Lovecraftian samurai appears and cuts down several warriors. When the flames die down, Mizuki picks up Oishi's fallen sword, believing he is dead. But Oishi survives the blaze. He and Kai hurry to aid the wounded, including Basho. In his final moments, Basho confesses to Kai that he used to bully him by throwing stones when they were young. He apologizes and calls Kai a good man before taking his last breath. The next morning, Kai and Chikara spot a group of dancers on their way to Kira's castle. Seeing an opportunity, they surround the group and beg for their help. If the dancers allow it, Oishi, Kai, and the remaining Ronin can slip into the wedding ceremony unnoticed. The dancers agree and everyone begins preparing their disguises for the night ahead. During this time, Yasuno approaches Kai and finally apologizes for his past disrespect. He thanks Kai for saving his life during the Kirin hunt, a moment of humility he had long avoided. Soon after, Oishi and the Ronin sign their names in blood on a scroll, marking their vow to avenge Lord Asano no matter the cost. Night falls and Kira's wedding begins. Disguised as part of the performance troupe, Oishi and the Ronin make their way inside the castle. Other Ronin scale the cliffs to eliminate Kira's guards from the outside. Everything goes smoothly until one guard notices something suspicious during Oishi's performance. He fires an arrow at Oishi, exposing the infiltration. The Ronin immediately spring into action. Steel clashes, alarms rise, and chaos fills the night. In the midst of the battle, they manage to bring down the Lovecraftian samurai by detonating explosives strapped to his massive armor. Meanwhile, Kira tries to escape with Mika, but she resists and breaks free into another room. Oishi goes after Kira, while Kai searches through the castle to find Mika. When Kai finally reaches her, Mizuki appears once more. This time, she transforms into a white dragon, unleashing her full power. Kai draws the Tengu sword and faces her in a fierce struggle. With precision and strength, he strikes her down, ending her dark influence once and for all. Oishi succeeds as well. He confronts Kira, delivers the final blow, and takes his head as proof. When he presents it outside, the remaining samurai bow to him, acknowledging justice has been served. With their mission complete, Oishi and the surviving Ronin return to Akko to honor Lord Asano at his grave. The next day, the shogun arrives, furious about the rebellion. Oishi steps forward and admits everything. He asks only that his men be honored for their loyalty. The shogun declares that all of them must die. But out of respect for their unwavering devotion, he grants them the right to die by seppuku rather than by hanging. It is the highest recognition of samurai honor they could receive. Before the execution begins, Kai and Mika share a quiet moment together. They promise to find each other again in another life, even if fate will not allow them to be together in this one. The ceremony begins. One by one, the Ronin prepare themselves. The shogun spares Chikara, allowing him to live and carry on the Oishi bloodline. The remaining warriors, including Kai, kneel to face their fate with dignity. The story closes with a final reflection. The legend of the 47 Ronin lives on across the centuries. Every year on December 14th, people from around the world gather at their graves to honor the bravery and loyalty of the samurai who chose honor above all else. So the moral of the story is, if a fox with two different colored eyes shows up, just go home and mind your business, because that thing is definitely trouble and will probably ruin your entire life before breakfast.